Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you this morning, and hope you're having a good day. I have a doctor's appointment today, and it is in Greendale, so this is going to be the longest drive that you join me on, and we're just going to enjoy ourselves and have a nice drive. I hope everybody's doing well. Here in Indiana, it's absolutely freezing. It's 38 degrees now. It snowed, all of it's gone, but it snowed quite a bit, and it's all melted and gone now, but it's still freezing, and I'll just be super glad when this is all over and it's warm again, because I can't stand cold weather. I never have ever liked cold weather, and the lady knows it, and I've begged her to move to a warmer state. But when you're chained by love, you basically accept whatever you have to accept, and that is my consequence as living here in Indiana, a state that I have never liked, a state that I absolutely despise, and have lived in at various times in my life, but I've also been lucky enough to live in other places, and somehow or another I ended up back here. It's pretty cool. When I was looking for a new vehicle before I got this one, I wanted a blue vehicle. Blue is one of my favorite colors, and I ended up with this, which I named Silver Surfer because it's silver. Feeling pretty good today. I'm not having too many issues. My neuropathy due to the diabetes is not really giving me too many issues today. My diabetic bloating seems to be getting better. There are days where it's horrible, and the pain is unbelievable, but today not so bad. left the house, I took 15 units of insulin, and my sugar was 236. But my Freestyle Libre said that I was dropping. So hopefully it'll get Dr. Groisman, my doctor, he told me that he would like my sugar to be around 140. Yesterday, at one time, I had it down to 113. The lowest that my sugar has ever gotten since all this was 53. And if you're diabetic or know anything about diabetes or about the glucose in your blood, you'll know that 53 is too low. It's not good. Average person, diabetic person, actually average person who isn't diabetic, your sugar is supposed to be anywhere from 80 to 120. So if you're not diabetic and you're in the normal range, and you do keep track of that, and you're always, 89 or 94 or whatever, you're in good shape. That means that your pancreas is doing what it's supposed to, and is counteracting the sugar in your blood, and you're doing good. Diabetics, on the other hand, have a pancreas that has decided to say, I don't care, and it doesn't work like it's supposed to. Sometimes doesn't work at all, and that's where the insulin and medicines and things like that come into view. I am was so severe that not only do I take insulin, but I take glucophage, and I also take Ozempic. All three of those drugs basically take the glucose out of your blood. So as you can see, I'm on 3 different medicines that do that, and that's not a doctor just trying to make money off of prescriptions. That is what it basically has taken to get my diabetes under control. I have a continuous glucose monitor that is also connected to a product called the Bubble, which I ordered, that reads my Libre every 5 minutes and displays the results on my phone. And that is how I've been able to get my sugar under control. Knowing the foods that I eat that affect my sugar, avoiding those foods, and as a diabetic, I have to be very careful with rice. I can't eat bread in any shape or form. Crackers, anything like that. When you're diabetic, there's a lot of foods you can't eat. But really what this comes down to in this epidemic of obese people and diabetic people is that this country, the United States of America, cares more about money than they do about human life. So all of our foods are refined and have added sugar in them, and everything is made with refined flours and things like that, which are carbs, and that's why most of us are overweight, because when you're poor, the cheapest foods to buy are things like Chef Boyardee, macaroni and cheese, ramen, and things like that. Well, those are all carbs, and every one of those also have added sugar in them. And then we get addicted to soda, cola, or Mountain Dew or something like that, and that's all empty calories. All of that is sugar and carbs. So, everything is set up against us. Organic and natural foods cost more, and being poor, we can't afford it. We know that we are not doing what we're supposed to, but we have no choice, and basically, other than starving to death, we eat the foods that are available to us. And another problem with those foods is that they're also addictive. So your brain tells you, the voice in your head tells you, you should only eat 1 can of Chef Boyardee. But the problem is that it's addictive. Your brain wants more and more of it because of the chemicals and things in the food. So you eat 2 cans, and then you feel terrible. You should only eat 1 serving of macaroni and cheese, but it's so addictive and so good, you eat the entire box. So it's really set up against us. That's why excuse me. That's why when you see celebrities that have money and are in the 1%, and you hear that they're vegan, that they only eat natural foods and they don't eat anything that's refined or comes from an animal or anything like that, the reason they do that is because they know that that's the way to be the healthiest you can be. And it's expensive, but they have the money and they have the means to do that. To whereas the 99% and the super poor, like myself, we don't have that. We don't have that ability. We don't have the money. And what happens is you end up going through something like I went through, and having a heart attack, and then having to have a 5-way bypass and a new valve put into my heart, and on all this medicine because I'm severely diabetic. So I'm not spinning a sob story here. I'm just telling you, the reality of my life. And I know that I'm not the only one. I know that there are millions of others. I know there are people worse off than me. I realize that. I'm thankful to the Lord every single day that He allowed me to wake up and enjoy another wonderful day of life. Before, I was so depressed and so miserable that I didn't care. I didn't care if I woke up from another day of life or had another day of life. It didn't matter to me. Just like that person that just passed, so miserable that he passed on a curb. That school bus coming this way, that could have been bad, but we don't know that person's situation. We don't know why they're speeding like that. We don't know their story. So I just have sympathy for them and, pray that whatever is making them act that way gets better. Noticed during the heart of the pandemic, when there was also very little traffic on the road, that also meant there were very little police on the road, and speeders like that person that passed me, were running rampant. People were driving 100 miles an hour, and they knew that there was very little chance that there were any police whatsoever. And now that the pandemic is winding down and people are being vaccinated and things are easing up some, I've noticed that the police presence has increased also. The other day, when I was in Batesville, I literally saw 8 police, 4 sheriffs, and 4 police. So, they are back out, and whether you want to admit it or not, they do have quotas. They do have things that they have to do, and they're gonna start pulling people over more and more for everything, I think, to make up for the money they lost during the pandemic. That's another thing I've noticed too. Prices on everything have went up, and places that lost a lot of money during the pandemic are now raising their prices to make up for the fact that they lost that money. If you're thinking, well, that must be why gas prices are higher, then you're not using your common sense, because gas prices are higher because there are more people on the road. It's all about supply and demand. So during the pandemic, when I was able to get gas for 98 cents, it's because there weren't a lot of people on the road driving around. So gas was cheap and we had an abundance of it. But now, speaking of, is that a cop? Yeah, speaking of cop, right there's one. But now, since people are on the road and driving more, and traffic seems to be back to normal now. Gas has skyrocketed to almost $3 a gallon. Everything, every product, everything that is made for humans by humans is supply and demand. If there is supply, then the demand is okay. But if the supply is affected by the fact that workers are sick, or they don't pay enough, so they can't keep workers, or the workers don't care, whatever the reason may be, and the supply dwindles and the demand doesn't, then that's when you run into problems. It's called economics. That vehicle we just passed was another sheriff's vehicle, so that's two during this drive already. Luckily for me, I wasn't born black, because in America, if you're black or African American, you basically have a target on your back, and every time that you encounter the police, it could be your death sentence. And I know there'll be people watching this video that say, well, that's just simply not true. If you're saying that, then you're probably white, because it is absolutely true. I mean, we literally just had the cop that murdered George Floyd get convicted on all charges, every single charge. And I didn't honestly expect that. I thought for sure that he was going to get off scot-free, and that we were going to have more division and more riots, and more just the black community trying to get their point across that they are absolutely targeted by police. And if this is, talk that you don't believe in, or you want to deny, or, you think is not true, then by all means, turn off my video. I would literally be a nervous wreck if I was black. Every single time I got in a car, I would be a nervous wreck, just wondering if today is the day that I'm going to get harassed or killed by a cop. And I'm not saying that all cops are bad. I'm not at all. That'd be like saying all black people, or all white people, or all people that listen to country music, or all people who liked Trump are bad. There is a a word that describes all these people, and it's called rogue. There's basically rogue people, rogue Trump supporters, rogue, rogue black people, rogue cops that are, and it really just depends on the situation. But for somebody to deny that cops harass black people, for somebody to deny that is just being silly, because it's true. Well, we are in Aurora right now, and sometimes the traffic in Aurora, especially near the Hollywood Casino, can absolutely be horrendous. And I've had many jobs that are in Hebron, and you have to go this way to get to Hebron. You have to go over the bridge that goes to Ohio and Kentucky, and that sometimes can be challenging because it can be very backed up because of traffic, and sometimes depending on the time, it can be a little bit better, but most of the time it is not. If you haven't been this way in a while, or moved away from this area, I'm sure you will see some new things that you haven't seen before, and I'm glad that I'm able to show you an area that you are aware of, and show you what is new and what is the same. And once again, I do absolutely thank you for watching this video. I know you didn't have to. YouTube is a plethora of a million different things, and there's a lot of videos to choose. And I don't kid myself. I do appreciate every single view, and I thank you for watching this. I truly do. If you haven't been here in a while, there used to be a buffet up here, and it was truly, other than the buffet in the casino, the only buffet in this area, and it is long gone. They have torn that down, and they put as you can see, a Dollar Tree right there next to Pizza Hut. That's where the buffet used to be. It was can't remember the name now. I do have a problem with memory when it comes to certain things, but it was I see it in my head. It's very popular. I keep wanting to say Old Country Buffet, but that's not what it was. I cannot remember for the life of me the name of it. It's very well known, though. but I can't remember. I'm sure it'll come to me out of nowhere, and then I will say it when it pops in my head, if it ever does. Because I'm still trying to think. Golden Corral. That's what it was called. Golden Corral. I mean, that Golden Corrals were good for what they did. They weren't the best buffet, but the pandemic was absolutely a buffet killer. It just absolutely destroyed that industry, and they are incredibly few and far between now. If somebody in the 1%, decided, I wonder what the perfect business to open now would be, it would be buffet. Because there is a true moneymaker if you can run it correctly. My wife and I, or the lady and I, since this channel is called The Lady and the Tramp, we used to go to Madison, Indiana, to the Ponderosa there, and Ponderosa had a good buffet bar, and it was one of the few that was left open, and during the pandemic it closed. So now if you want to go to a buffet in Madison, there is no options there whatsoever. Really sad. That's the bridge to nowhere, in case you've never haven't been here in a while. They built that to ease the traffic problem here in this little stretch right here. We will go over it when we go home, and you'll be able to experience it. But yeah, that's what everybody calls that, the bridge to nowhere. We will be going by Whiskey's, and they're still in business. I think unless they choose to close, they'll be in business forever. There's Whiskey's over there. New Dunkin' Donuts right there, always hiring all shifts. This KFC, I'm not sure if the buffet there is still going or not, but KFC has become pretty terrible, owned by Yum Brands, and I just find that hilarious, because Pizza Hut, KFC, Long John Silver's, Taco Bell, all those are owned by Yum Brands. All of those have went downhill incredibly, and it seems to me that the company doesn't understand what the word yum means, because they really should change their name to Dumb Brands, because they truly are ruining those four businesses. Like those commercials that say, "No one out pizzas the Hut," and I think to myself, that is an incredible lie, because everybody out pizzas the Hut. Everybody. Their pizza is terrible. But, oh well, that's just my opinion. If it's your favorite, then I'm glad you enjoy it, but I sure don't. So we just went by Hollywood Casino, and now we're just heading towards Greendale. It's a new doctor's office that they built up in Greendale, and it's very nice. All of my doctors are there, which is convenient for me, so that you see that's Sinclair, that was that didn't always used to be something else. Then there's a Waffle House right there that they built. It hasn't been there too awful long. There's the curve to go to Ohio or Kentucky and go over the bridge. We're going straight. And St. Elizabeth is right there on the right. Very, very nice doctor's office. That's a, if you haven't been here in a while, that's on the Rosas. I don't know if it was here before you left or whatever, but all right, we're here at the doctor's office. So my appointment is in 15 minutes. Of course, the automated call that you get when you have an appointment tells you to show up 15 minutes early, so I knew what time I had to leave to be able to do that. So thank you once again for joining me on this drive. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you haven't seen this area in a while, I hope you saw some things that you hadn't seen before. And going to end the video now and go inside and see how I'm doing. This is for my podiatrist. So thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye.